What is the value of a single human life? How do we even make such an assessment? Is a wealthy person worth more because they have more wealth? Is a pious person worth more because of their piety? Well, if we are talking about a flesh and blood IRL human, I'm sure that such a manner of a philosophical question would quickly turn the comment section into an absolute toxic train wreck of opinions. And do you think I want a toxic train wreck of opinions? I didn't think so. So let me reshape the question just a little bit. What is the value of a single human life per Red Dead Redemption 2? The elementary school answer here would be to just shoot someone in the face and see how much of a bounty is accrued for the crime. $15? Adjusted for 2024 inflation, that's nearly $500. But currency is fluid, and the justice system is still a human construct. And if history has shown us anything, it is that those in the position of power to create that construct often do so while letting their own personal biases about who is more valuable than who affect that construct. Thankfully, since we are doing this in a video game, we have insight into more currencies to weigh a soul against than a simple dollar value. We have something far more metaphysical, a true karmic metric of one's worth. Honor bucks. So if you aren't familiar with Red Dead, this bar on the screen represents one's honor. A simple system, really. If you do something good,
hey there, puss,
you earn some honor bucks. But if you do something bad, bad John, bad boy, you lose some honor bucks. No biased human middleman or variable cash currency required. Enter our old friend Jim Milton, former outlaw now turned scientist. But in order to do some proper old-timey science, Mr. Milton needs to have his honor all the way to the right at the maximum amount, so we have a firm control point to work with. But as we can see, Mr. Milton has been a very naughty boy thanks to his recent round of cowboy golf. So before we can do anything, Mr. Milton needs some field experience on doing the right thing.
Can I hold you, mister?
Thank you, John. You made an itchy old man very happy. Bet you ain't felt a bed in a while.
Damn traitor's bed. Get me off of here.
Calm down. Well,
Good morning.
ma'am,
Good morning, sir.
Well, hey.
you keep safe now. It can be a dangerous world.
Goodbye.
Now that Mr. Milton has achieved maximum honor, all he needs is a new man of science appearance. Nice. We can let the science commence.
Stop what you're doing and get to eating, huh?
Well, right after supper. The first thing we need to find out is if a single human life can move the needle of the honorometer at all. Good sir, you seem like the sort who would help a man of science. Oh goody, the needle moved. This vastly simplifies things. With one human worth of honor bucks depleted from the honorometer, we will now conduct a series of honorable actions to restore it in order to figure out the true value of one human life. It's well known in the world of Red Dead that if you need easy honor fast, you just go for a stroll and say howdy to a bunch of people. Most people usually do this in Saint Denis due to the vast population of people who live there. But for our little science experiment, Mr. Milton has traveled to Armadillo. There may not be as many people here, but those who are still in this cholera-stricken hellhole will surely appreciate a good how do you do. Okay, let's count.
Good morning. Morning, mister.
1,
Morning.
2. Oh,
Morning, mister.
Morning.
3,
Morning to you.
Morning.
4,
Hello, miss.
Good luck today, mister.
5,
Morning, friend.
6. What? Seriously, 6 people? One human life is only worth 6 Howdys? I personally would have expected more, but in science, you need to let the evidence write the facts. We can't be sloppy and just look for numbers that justify our opinions. But to make sure, I shall run this experiment once again.
Hey, partner. Hello. Hi, miss. Mister. Howdy. Y'all all right? Hey there, miss. Hello, ma'am. Hey.
Hey.
Behind you, partner. Partner. Hello, miss. Howdy, mister. Hi. Hello.
Well, that unsimplifies things. A 2.5 times discrepancy isn't something Science John can just scrub off. So hold please while I gather some more data to try to figure out what is going on.
Howdy, mister. Good evening.
Okay, so you know how in science a proper experiment only changes one variable at a time to measure the change in results? Well, I unknowingly was changing a single variable. There is a copy of the honors section from the official strategy guide floating around, which states that repeated murder will escalate the amount of honor lost each time. But it wasn't that. I kept reloading the same perfect honor save state many times and terrorizing the people of Blackwater in a Groundhogian Day loop of violence. Through these terrors, the source of the discrepancy was revealed as the method invoked to take the person out. If I honk their neck and snap it like a Slim Jim, only a minor amount of honor is dinged, but every time the killing was done with a weapon, be it a blade or bullets, the cost in honor bucks was 2.5 times more. At first, my hypothesis was that there was less honor in using a weapon. Where attacking someone with fists could be deemed a fair fight, bringing a knife or bullets would be deemed unfair. And as such, maybe nearly the entire amount of honor lost by using hands was for the actual murder itself, and then the more severe results included the same amount for the murder, and then an additional amount for doing it unfairly with weapons. I didn't really have means to prove this, and this video is supposed to be like 95% shitpost and not a study that I'm going to be submitting for peer review, so I was about to let it slide and just assume that the smaller value was more correct for a human life based on that hypothesis. But dang nabbit, Polka Cowboy ain't no half-asser. So I let myself get sucked in deeper and deeper into this problem and did more studies. I ran the experiment on Blackwater many more times, looking for anything that could isolate the value of a murder. Eventually I noticed a thread to pull on. A thread that when finally pulled enough to unravel the entire sweater made me realize I've been living with a pretty big misconception about Red Dead all these years. I noticed that if I honk a person's neck, the crime that the witnesses report isn't murder, but merely unarmed assault. So even though the cracking of the neck sounds really bad, and made me assume the victim was dead as they lay there unmoving with a black X on the map, maybe they're not dead. Another experiment was in order. Perfect! Stabbing an already choked out body ups the crime from unarmed assault to murder proper. This hints well for my hypothesis. And for a second order of proof, here we see a man who I've choked out. If we assess the map marker where he lies, notice it provides no label. But if we then tickle him one more time to make sure he is truly dead, only then does the map marker specify that he has become a corpse. I assume many of you out there probably already knew this, and I'm a late comer to this knowledge, but just in case anyone out there is still a skeptic, one more experiment. Let's reward this woman with a nice involuntary chiropractic session. Hear that crack? That's how you know you're healing. Now we grab her corpse-like body and throw it on the back of our horse and voila! Via horse magic, she wakes right back up. Sure, she might be a little groggy from the experience, but she is totally not murdered. Having worked through that issue, I shan't be setting up any of the tests by a mere chokehold, but rather with an appropriate amount of violence. So with complete confidence, I can say that if I stab a man in the neck, it will take 15 Howdys to balance the cost of his soul.
Hey, partner. Easy. Evening, ma'am. Sir. Mister. Hey, good evening. All right, y'all. Gentlemen, hi, fellas. Have a good night. Ladies, excuse me. Evening, partner.
Hey, you good?
Good evening.
Although, 15 Howdys still feels like a terrifyingly low value for a human life. On to the next experiment.
Oh no!
So if making a stranger's day by saying, "Sir," seems kind of overvalued against a human life, how about doing some physical labor for your friends and loved ones? Throughout the various camps and at Beecher's Hope, there are a series of chores we can do to earn some fat stacks of honor bucks. Let's start by feeding the horses. To feed horses, we just need to take the daily delivery of hay from here to over yonder where the horses are, ready to eat it. 1 bale, 2 bale, 'Get out of my way, you stupid horse! 3 bales, 4 bales. So that's all the hay available today, so John will need to take a map before he can move some more. A new day with new hay. Let's get cracking. Five bales. Are you kidding me? How far did I have to move them? Like 50 paces to this barn where I'm sure nothing bad will ever happen. One human life is equivalent to hauling 5 hay bales about 150 plus feet to feed some shit-heeled horses who aren't even courteous enough to move out of my way to feed them. This is madness! Let's try a different chore. How about some wood splitting? Okay, we've chopped 1 day's worth of wood and haven't reached the human equivalents yet. Thank God! But I'm out of wood, so we're gonna need to wait until the next day to continue. Just, wow. 1 human life is worth splitting 30 pieces of wood. Okay, fine, I get it. Wood keeps everyone warm and helps cook food for their bellies. Hay feeds horses, and horses might as well be gods in this game. So all of this is totally worth 1 human's life, right? But what about a less glamorous chore? Go shovel some shit, Jim. Well, right after you know.
You behaving yourself, John?
Me? What a ridiculous thing to ask. Of course I have.
I sincerely hope so.
The one burned out corpse is worth 5 hay bales, 30 wood, and 20 piles of cow shit. I could pull some teats as well to find out how much milk, but no, whatever, screw milk. No, not that rat, the cuddly kind. One of the lesser known ways to gain honor in Red Dead is to visit any city and take care of any rats that may be scurrying about. Cleaning up town is good for the soul. For this test, Mr. Milton has traveled to the lawless little shitbox of Van Horn. But before the rattening can begin, we need to adjust the honorometer. Okay, how many rats do you think one human life will be worth? Place your bets now. Five rats. 5. I know this is science and I can't refute the evidence, but Jesus! Humans aren't worth much, are they, in Red Dead? But good riddance. I'm glad they weren't worth more. This was 100% the worst test to pull off. Between the billion or so times I had to sleep hoping for a rat spawn, drowning myself if I did the rat patrol too fast and couldn't sleep yet, having the rats run and hide under this boardwalk where I couldn't get to them, bumping into people and having them start shit with me so I had to kill them, and trying to dodge this vomit-covered man over and over in hopes that he didn't cause an honor event. This one took way longer than I expected it to, and I'm glad I'm done with it. Now how about we fish? So it isn't the actual act of fishing that builds honor, but rather it is the act of releasing a catch instead of keeping it for supper. There are also 2 classifications of fish in Red Dead. Small fish, which you can stuff into your satchel, and big fish that only fit on a horse. I'm gonna run this with both, in case fish lives are dependent on fish girth. So first up, the big fish.
You're in luck.
One fish, 2 fish, red fish,
Swim away, little buddy.
dead fish.
You, sir, are a fish. You can go.
After the 5th fish, the honorometer never was shown maxing out, but pulling up Rampage, which I've been using to monitor the actual values this entire time, it did show the honor reach maximum. So 5. Great! Didn't see that coming. 1 human life is worth sparing the lives of 5 big-ass fish. But what about the wee little fish?
All right. All right, off you go then. Fatten up for next time. Swim away, little buddy.
Again, 5. No surprises here. You know, I'm sure there are plenty of other things in Red Dead which we could use to stack up against the value of a single human life. But I think I've seen enough for this day of science. And based on my studies, I am confident in saying that the value of human life in Red Dead Redemption 2 is jack shit. Hope you had fun figuring this out with me. I'll see you in the next one.